Hi everyone, I believe a YouTube video has been due for a while now. I wanted to update everybody. So unfortunately I did not get my son back, even though I proved that there was conflict of interest and that the judgment was made past the expiry of providing a judgment. So the reasoning that they provided was that they believed that even though there's no law stating that, but it is the judge's own opinion that even though the judgment was made past the expiry of judge decision, there was no error that was discussed before him, and that even though I told them that there is conflict between me and the trial judge, that the decision, in his opinion, that there was no error pointed out to him. The only reason no errors were pointed out to him because there was no law stated anywhere that said that even if these judges were in violation of conflict and past their expiry time, I am required to provide them with the explanation or evidence that there is multiple error in judgment, which there is multiple error in judgments, but there is no law stating that I was required to provide such evidence. So that's why I did not provide it. But there's tons and tons of error in the decision. So I was not given my son back. So I'm still attempting. It's been over 20 months since I've seen my son, and has been very difficult on me, and I've been extremely stressed out, and I believe he's kind of getting um depressed and stuff too, but I think he's adjusting. He's a child. For a kid, it's easier for him to adjust to a new life, but I know that he's having difficulties also, and as much as he likes to pretend, I know that he does not seem happy. So right now I'm proceeding in a even a higher court to appeal, and has been very stressful for me. I've never been to this court, so the procedures are a little bit difficult and different than any other court. The court staff has been so far very helpful, and that, given how busy they are, they've been trying to provide me with as much help and information as possible. So I'm very thankful for that. Hopefully that we will be able to resolve these issues. Now I know the parties are complaining that you did not argue the fact that there were error in judgment. I was not aware that I was required to argue that, because there was no law stating that I had to. I mean, I'm a mom. I'm not a professional lawyer that was supposed to know all of these things, and the fact that which of the laws that the court follows and which of them they don't. So I did not argue that, because I thought that just providing the fact that these people, there's several violation of law, such as the expiry of time and conflict, should be good enough reason. But right now, I'm moving forward in a higher court. Obviously I'm still going to be arguing that these laws should apply, and I also want the opportunity to just point out that there are some, like, some of the errors in judgment, the major ones, that I want to point out. So this way, not to appeal that order, but to understand the reason why it's important for me to appeal that order. So that's that. So another issue that I'm having is that obviously I'm not allowed to talk about things that identifies my child, but at the same time, I'm not in any way, don't have to not speak about the court proceeding. So given that, right now, today I was in a court earlier today, and I've been preparing for this for quite some time now, and this was brought to address a potential 380 subsection 2 of criminal code, where it is an offense to take any action, such as like copy somebody's outfits and stuff, especially if you're an influencer and so on, that will influence the stock market or enable like a retail company or anybody to get inspired or feel like they want to make duplicates of your outfits and sell them on the in the stores and stuff. So that is an offense. So I addressed in court today that I believe that potentially myself and a retired judge's family who could potentially be a victim of this issue, and that the Toronto Police should look into it. And the counsel for the Toronto Police was present in court at the hearing, and I made that submission in writing also. And my documents were served on the office of the chief of police, the various different police officers. Weirdly, and also the other order that I was looking for was that the Toronto Police also look into the parties involved in my court case, so the society workers, and if they have any connections, if they are receiving any funding from third party individuals to lie in their court documents about me, and if they're in any way associated with individuals from different proceedings in from my different cases. So they pretty much said that the police does not have to investigate any complaint that is filed with them, which is ridiculous. But the weirdest part is that when I received the endorsement, in the endorsement it states that I accused the judge's family of trafficking my child, Justice Lyns Family, which is completely false. And I actually sent a copy of all of these documents to the judge's family, Justice Lyns Family, and similar documents has been filed with the Court of Appeal. So they're all very much aware of the wordings and what I said. So like these documents were sent to the office of the chief of police, was sent to the business email for the judge's family. It was sent to a police officer in Durham district, which is another city in the area. So this and it was also filed on case lines, which is actually viewed by Superior Court in Toronto. So not only the family court, the civil court, and everybody has access to whatever it is that I filed for today's motion. So any judge, anybody can actually view the documents that was filed there. And it was also served via to various different people. So when the order came through, I was very, very shocked that it said that I'm accusing them, because if anything, I said that the Toronto Police should look into potentially if these people are victim of Section 380 subsection 2 of Criminal Code, and if they are, then they should take the initiative to reimburse them. And if anybody else that may be affected, they should get reimbursed. So that's pretty much what I said. That's what I wrote in my draft order. That's what I wrote in my affidavit. So I'm not really sure how it even came to the fact that I was accusing these individuals, which is like really surprised me. To be honest, it just feels like an abuse of court process at this time, that they are dragging this on and like making false judgments to keep us trapped and to put negative blame. But I'm not that concerned about being negatively blamed, because anybody that will have access to the order, that person will also have access to the draft order and the documents that I filed with the court. If anybody has access to case lines where they can see these endorsements, they can also see the documents that I filed for the motion where it was heard and what I wrote in the document. So I know that I'm not going to be it will sooner or later will be fixed. But I'm just surprised that I was improperly kind of being framed for this. So I don't really appreciate that, to be honest, and I'm concerned for my safety and well-being at this time. So as of right now, I sent an email, multiple emails actually since then, because I had like a panic attacks when I saw that. So I sent a email, few emails to the counsel for the police who attended the hearing, also had access to the case line documents, and obviously everybody else that attended to this hearing and were served with the documents, a consent letter asking them that, that paragraph where it said that I'm accusing a judge's family, that should be amended into saying that I will actually file the documents and made submissions in court that if these individuals are in any way while in victims of section 380 subsection 2 of criminal code, that the police should investigate and reimburse them. So, well, first of all, the order says the Toronto police, they cannot compel the Toronto police to do anything. So if the Toronto police takes initiative to do the investigation, it is up to them. I sent emails to the council that attended to this hearing that I would very much appreciate it if you can provide the Toronto police with my affidavit and ask them to look into the stuff that I requested on the document. So, I don't think, I mean, given the fact that these people has been very sketchy with their actions, I don't think they're gonna really do anything. So it's likely I'm gonna have to bring a motion in court to try to address these issues, but I'm gonna try to see if they consent or not. But to be honest, like these same documents has been filed in Court of Appeal also, which is scheduled to be heard by a judge in the next couple of weeks. So they will be also be able to view actually what I wrote in my documents and what I'm being accused of. So which is like completely different than what it is. So yes, so I'm waiting to hear from the parties. I don't think I'll hear from them today, so hopefully sometime tomorrow I'll hear from them and we will see how it goes. So the only two parties that were involved today in the hearing was the counsel for the Children in Society and the counsel for the Toronto police, but there was nobody else from, like, my ex did not go, the child's father did not go, and the office of the children's lawyer, she did not go either. But yeah, the affidavits, they were served upon Durham Police. It was served upon the Toronto Police, the Chief of Police, the 41 Division, bunch of different other police officers. So, if anything happens, all of these people are witness to what I actually wrote on my affidavit, and they were able to view that. So obviously there is a potentially this is another kind of a fraud, but I did not ask for any money for today's motion. But if I have to appear in court again, order transcript and stuff, I mean, obviously I asked them for consent. If they don't consent and I have to go through this manually, obviously I'm not going to be wasting more money. I'm going to be asking them that they have to reimburse me because they had the opportunity to consent to it. So if they didn't and I ended up spending money, they have to pay me back for that. And the time that I invest into, scheduling more motion, appearing in court, ordering transcript, the cost of transcript, all of that stuff. My submission in the court, like my main submission in the court should be all it needs. It's probably like 5 minutes or so. So I don't think it will cost that much money, but like $20, $30 or something. But yeah, I just don't want to go through this stress again and again, to be honest. And this is abuse of court process where these people are intentionally making errors in judgment and dragging us through a really lengthy and expensive court process. And I don't think that is how a justice system should be run. If anything, the civil law, I don't know what the family law for this is, but the civil law 104 subsection 1, which says that a proceeding should proceed which is less costly and less time consuming way. So I think that's how it should be, because when you delay proceedings, there's potentially there will be more harm. And then a small, if you're 1 month of delay may cause such harm that can cost a party, a person's child, or thousands of dollars of financial loss, physical harm. There could be so many potential issues that can happen within the short time. So that is not something that should be taken lightly. So I'll let everybody know what's happening with this if I was able to get the order amended on consent, or when the motion will be. So you will be hearing from me soon about this. But yeah, like, this motion was brought to figure out if these individuals are intentionally causing harm as a hate crime, or if they're financially benefiting in any way. But in any way, like, if somebody is lying in their court documents to give their children away to somebody else, that is child trafficking, and that is something serious that needs to be taken lightly. I am not at this point not allowed to address anything identifying my child, but I'm not in any way have to not discuss the other parties that are involved that has committed fraud. And eventually, I don't know, at some point I may go ahead and address these issues, but I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, if Justice Lynn or her family, Ashley, they're ever watching these videos and stuff, and if there's ever any concern, just know that, I sent documents to info@playacabana.ca, I believe, and the fact that I informed the Toronto police, and the motion was also served upon Toronto police and Durham police, telling them that they should look into if their family, Ashley's family, and my family has ever been a victim of 380 subsection 2 of criminal code, and if they are, then they should take actions and reimburse these people, including me and her and whoever else that may be affected by this. So the Toronto Police Council that attended, they said that the Toronto Police will likely not investigate anything. So I am not in any way responsible for this. This is a criminal issue that needs to be addressed with the police. So good luck with that. So yeah, that being said, hopefully I get the consent soon, or if not, if I'm proceeding with the motion hearing to amend that one paragraph in the endorsement, that I am not accusing the judge's family. I am stating that they should be reimbursed, then that should be amended, and that I sent out consent to amend that into the pleadings, into the order. So I'll see if what happens, and there will be more videos regarding this, hopefully within the next week or so. And in terms of moving forward in even a higher court, yeah, I mean, I think I made an error over there, but at the same time, like, I'm trying to fix it. So I'm trying to schedule a motion for sometime in early February to try to fix the errors. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I just filed the documents today, and I'm gonna kind of figure out what the court clerk says tomorrow, if any corrections needs to be made, and if I have to refile the documents again, or whatever it is that I have to do. So that is what's happening right now. It is very stressful. What else? Oh yeah, I filed for divorce. Yes, I am married. I was married in 2011. I got separated in 2013, and this is 2026. So it's in May of this year, it will be 13 years since I have been separated from my ex. We lived in separate cities. Obviously he has turned my life into a living nightmare for the last few years. Every year he goes through every year he goes through a phase where he feels like he needs to call the Children in Society or Toronto Police and send them to my home. eventually, things got so bad, the fact that, my son was taken from my care. So in the last year, obviously there has been no involvement of the police, but my life has been turned upside down from like doing so much court paperwork and so much cost and that loss of money, and I am seriously financially struggling right now. So, yes, it has been very difficult, and obviously we're not getting back together whatsoever at all. Like, if you want to be with somebody, you make their life easier and better, and you try to give that person what they want instead of take everything away from them and turn their life into living fucking nightmares. So obviously, this is not happening. Luckily, he consented to the divorce. Not He did not sign the divorce documents, but he did sign an agreement that he's agreeable to divorce, and the terms that I set out in the divorce, which is pretty straightforward. I'm not looking for spousal support. We are not addressing access or anything like that relating to child, and there's already other court case relating to child support, so we are not addressing those things. We just want to do the divorce and just move on with our life. So yeah, so that's happening right now. That is being processed by the court right now. So hopefully within a month and a half or so, I'm gonna be divorced. And then that's the only probably thing that's gonna go without too much hiccup, unless the issues always come from the court. So um unless the court brings up issues that do not exist between us, then I don't think there should be an issue with getting this done within the next month and a half or so. So yeah, that's pretty much that. I will be talking about this on my social media in a little bit while this is being uploaded, and I will keep everybody updated about what's happening. And yeah, I kind of got used to the situation. So I mean, I miss my son a lot. It's been 20 months since I've seen him. 20 months and 1 day. So it's been very difficult. It's almost 2 years, like 4 months in May. It's gonna be 2 years. So feels like a very, very long time. I mean, I do get to talk to him virtually online, but I don't really get to see him, so it's not the same. I do miss him a lot. He's a boy, so I know that, he doesn't like to hurt anybody's feelings. And I kind of, when I talk to him, I know that he misses the life that he had here, where we used to go do outings, go to different places, where his life is pretty simple and basic right now. He just goes to school, comes home, and stays home all the time. And then maybe like sometimes they order in food and stuff. So I know that he misses the life that he had, and he can kind of compare it with what his friends have versus him. So but as a boy, he obviously sticks with his ego and decisions. So he's he'll figure it out at some point. But obviously I'm not gonna stop trying to get him back. But the court shouldn't abuse the court system and make wrong decisions to and hold a child away, like hold a child hostage and force a parent to spend so much money and drag them through months and months long of like court hearings. That is seriously, like, honestly, I feel like that's mentally effed up, that people do that they feel like they have to hold a child away and make wrong decisions to try to keep them away from their parents. But I'm stuck with this, to be honest. So I don't know what will happen. We'll see how this goes. Keeping my fingers crossed. Even if this thing proceeds on a higher court, it's not likely that any decision will be made before at least like summertime. So like May, June, July. If the parties agree, like if they file their documents, uh, you know earlier than waiting until the very last moment, and then they consent that they want to kind of move forward as soon as possible. Then the court said that they can probably provide an urgent time depending on when they file their responding documents, and then to kind of have everything heard by everybody. But the motion that is scheduled for February, it's just for like procedural issues and stuff. So it's not the final hearing. If this does proceed with the final hearing, it's not gonna be until the summertime. So I know it's gonna be like a year, 2 year and a half until before I get to see my son, even if, which is a serious abusive process of court hearings, and all. I don't like it. So yeah, so I'm also hoping in the meantime I want to move out of Canada, because I cannot take this much stress anymore. This is unfair and unheard of, and it's just a hate crime, to be honest. But the today's order was just like a complete attack to in order to frame me. But whoever has access to that order also has access to the filings of my documents. So both of them will be under the same filing number, so all of these will be there, like the draft order that I wrote down, that I want Justice Lyns family, if they're victim, I want the police to reimburse them. Like, it has been written, has been filed, submitted with the court, has been included in the case lines. So anybody that reads that endorsement will also have the access to the filings of my documents. So it's not going to be very hard to prove, but I'm still going to try to get that one paragraph fixed, because I don't want to look like I'm alleging that I'm accusing a judge's family. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And I will do more videos in the coming weeks. And hopefully everybody had a good year. Bye.